has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. Please be sure to silence your cell phones and rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Please help me welcome our contest master, competent communicator, Kerri B.
Morning. The first, we have today both the table topics and an international speech competition, and we will start with the table topics contest. The purpose of the table topics contest is to provide an opportunity to learn by observing the more proficient speakers who have benefited from their Toastmasters training, to encourage development of impromptu and extemporaneous speaking skills, and to recognize the best as encouragement to all. In the interest of time, we will conduct this contest using the same procedure as the Toastmasters International uses in conducting the International Speech Contest. The judges, contestants, functionaries, and sergeant-at-arms have been fully briefed on all the rules. The contestants have been informed of the location of the timing lights. There will be no photography during the contest. The sergeant-at-arms are given instructions to close the doors and not admit anyone while the speakers are giving their presentations. Kindly turn off your cell phones and noise-making devices for the duration of the meeting. Timers, please make a final check of your timing devices. Protests are limited to the judges and contestants. The decision of the judges is final. Announcements of the results are also final. The contestants have drawn speaking positions. The order is: number 1 will be Hadi, 2, Stephen Morgan, 3, Jorge Friegels, and 4, Rich Massa. All contestants will be given the same topic. When the contest begins, the SSA, the Sergeant-at-Arms, will escort all the contestants except for the first to the waiting room. The topic is then read to the first contestant, who will speak on that topic for 2 minutes. There will be 1 minute of silence between contestants for the judges to mark their ballots. During that time, you may quietly enter or leave the room. Please do not talk during this time. At the conclusion of the contest, the ballot counters will collect the judges' ballots. The timers will deliver their reports to the chief judge. Are you ready? Okay. The Sergeant-at-Arms, please escort all the contestants except contestant number 1 to the waiting area. Let me know when this has been accomplished. We will observe a minute of silence before the table topics.
Who said we're moving electric? Huh? Who said we're moving electric? Okay, right. Just leave it here and speak from here. Contestant number 1, the topic: when I think of love, I think of. When I think of love, I think of. Contestant number 1, Hadi.
Hey, will you go out with me? No. Hey, will you go out with me? No. Oh! Will you go? No! Oh. What is love? baby, don't hurt me. No more. Hey, hey, will you? I can't do it. Be calm, be calm, be calm. Okay, I'm sexy because I got swagger. How you doing? Well, you got me off! Ah, screw it.
Timer submitted on the clock,
Why
please.
you disqualify for retardation?
1 minute on the clock, please. Contestant number 2, Stephen Morgan. When I think of love, I think of. When I think of love, I think of. Contestant number 2, Stephen Morgan.
When I think of love, oh, the spring days. But we always run into that particular question of what is it really? When you're young, it's really easy when you fall in love or lust, take your pick, your hormones running wild. It feels great, lots of fun. But it's different when you get older, especially when you have your own kids. You love them, but it's different. Or your dogs, you love them, but it's different. Or maybe for some of you, it's your cars, you love them. I hope it's different. And I've been thinking about this question a lot lately, specifically, how are you going to define love? And I've come up with one particular example that I've just been going for, because it seems to fit all the examples that I needed to fit. And that's specifically, if there's someone that you love, then that means that you find happiness from them being happy. So if it's your spouse, significant other, you feel happy when they're happy. Or your children, you feel happy when they're happy. Even the dogs, I'm not going to the car, you figure that out. But what I found is that that fits. Because it's easy to say that there is somebody that you love but don't like. Anyone have someone like that? Okay? But that means that you care about them being happy, their well-being. You just don't get along with them very well. So you can love someone and not like them. So then that question leads into when I think of love. When I'm thinking of love, I'm thinking of the things that are going to make me happy a bit, but it's the things that make me happy because they're making other people happy. Those that are around me. And if it can be as simple as a table topic, then I can say I love table topics. And I hope you love this table topic answer just as much. That is not as much.
Contestant number 3, Jorge Friegels. When I think of love, I think of. When I think of love, I think of Jorge Friegels. Contestant number 3.
When I think of love, I think of, this is very appropriate in my personal situation because I'm getting married in 10 days. So when I think of love, naturally I think of my fiance, Destiny. Some of you have met. She was at the last contest that we had, and she saw me compete in the humor speech contest. So immediately when I think of love, I think of not only our relationship and just building upon that, I also think of my parents and all the love and support that they've shown me. And when I think of love and support, the same reasons that the way that I love her because she supports me the same way my parents support me. It's just kind of that unconditional support that they have for you, Lord. No matter what you do, you can piss them off in all sorts of different ways, and they'll forgive you. You know that they always have your back. That kind of support system is incredibly important, and I think that it makes the difference in the ways that people are brought up to have somebody that really truly loves them, and to teach somebody how to love and how to love others is incredibly important. So that was what I think of immediately. When I think of love, I think of all that. And then of course, then I think of Valentine's Day and all these other holiday types of situations where you celebrate love. But mostly I think of just fiance, my family, my parents, and the love and support that they've shown me through the years.
What motivates you?
Do you have an extra one of these you can pass to our guests?
Yes.
Calvin needs one.
Contestant number 4, Rich Massa. When I think of love, I think of. When I think of love, I think of. Contestant number 4, Rich Massa.
When I think of love, I think of action. Love is not just a feeling. Love is how you treat someone. Love is patience. Love is understanding. It's actions that how you treat someone. That's love to me. When we just say we feel love, there's a big difference between feeling love and showing love. So to me, love is action. Thank you.
Yes, we need 2 minutes. So the judges can.
The judges are instructed to complete their ballots, sign them, put them in their envelopes, hold them for collection by the ballot counters. The timers will deliver their report to the chief judge. Okay, let's go ahead and congratulate all of our speakers for this. While they're counting, yes. We take 5 minutes while they're counting.
Well, it looks like they had enough people, but thank you so much. It's still a good thing to watch. Yeah. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Good. Thank you though for coming. I appreciate that.
It's okay, we're here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Where's that?
Pardon? No, 2 minutes. Right below 2 minutes. 1 and 2 minutes. Nothing below 1 minute.
Now, this is a prepared commission. This time, this is. You want to see the order that they're going to be speaking? One, they basically had to draw out of a hat to know who's going to go first, second, third.
Just like this, same old. Just like that.
Yeah, that sometimes happens. I know, I always tell them, you should go buy a lottery ticket.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Would you like some? Today, I got them from Walmart because I forgot my Sam's Club card. So I went to Walmart and they had a lot of things that, you know, Trader Joe's even has. Like they had the little snap frozen peas that you replace with French fries. Or
I love this thing.
those snap peas that freeze dries. Walmart has them now.
Really?
And I got checked out without leaving. It was like, this is a miracle. I might actually go back again to Walmart. I go like once every 3 months.
I go like 3 times a week. The one time it's 2 miles from my house and it's got self checkout. So I'm always in
Walmart. It stresses me out. I should write spirit on it.
I did. Oh, you gave it.
Yeah, yeah.
My Walmart
Go
stresses
with
me
me.
out.
I'm really on top of this.
Well, when we first.
I have an empty refrigerator, so you can't buy it at Walmart.
Aw. They come out of nowhere.
You're coming to see the yeah, you came here on an unusual day. We got this thing.
I have, but now,
I'm talking about the one that's
kind of moved around, so not really sure.
I might have that for you. Chris, could you explain to her how the sequence works?
Yeah, but we'll, I got A's. Does she have a thing? They have to draw out of a hat the order that they're going to be speaking. So they don't know who's first or second, but now we know.
Yeah.
So I have all these,
Yes.
Yeah.
Good way to take it on the bus.
Cutting across.
I love it.
I'm accustomed.
That's okay, right, Erika?
Sometimes I withdraw, but I'll be tempted.
How are we doing?
We're doing great.
It was gonna be 5, but I'm not. Well, we should be ready.
When it is, where it is.
His car.
I don't like being put on the spot, so I like to tell people what I'm gonna do.
Which car?
That's good, I have to get it in my head.
Okay.
But there's so much kind of story for it.
So it's okay if I leave it like right here?
You can leave it there, I'll come and throw around back.
Oh yeah, well, you're gonna be coming from out there anyway. Okay.
Shoot is trash.
Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and start with our international speech contest. Yeah, I'm just reading the instructions. They won't miss that. The purpose of the International Speech Contest is to provide an opportunity for speakers to improve their speaking skills, to recognize the best as encouragement to all, and to provide an opportunity to learn by observing the more proficient speakers who have benefited from their Toastmasters training. In the interest of time, we will conduct this contest using the same procedure as Toastmasters International uses in conducting the International Speech Contest. The judges, contestants, functionaries, and Sergeant-at-Arms have been fully briefed on all the rules. The contestants have been informed of the location of the timing lights and the designated speaking area. There will be no photography during the contest. The Sergeant-at-Arms are instructed to close the doors and not admit anyone while the speakers are giving their presentations. Please keep your cell phones and pagers off for the duration of this meeting. Protests are limited to judges and contestants. The decision of the judges is final. Announcement of the results is final. The contestants have drawn their speaking positions. And our order is: number 1 will be Mike Hughes, 2, Hadi Nosair, 3, Stephany Byrne, 4, Rich Massa, and 5, Stephen Morgan. The contestants are permitted to remain in the room throughout the contest. There will be 1 minute of silence between contestants for the judges to mark their ballots. During that time, you may quietly enter or leave the room. Please do not talk during this time. At the conclusion of the contest, the ballot counters will collect the judges' ballots. The timers will deliver their reports to the chief judge. Is the timers ready? All right. We will observe 1 minute of silence before the first speech. And ladies and gentlemen, our first contestant is Mike Hughes, inspirational teacher, Mike Hughes.
I don't understand what that teacher is saying. It doesn't make sense to me. I just wish I could wrap my head around his ideas. How many of you heard this coming up in school? How many thought to themselves, you know what, there's got to be a better way of doing this? Ladies and gentlemen, Madam Toastmaster, Today I'm going to talk to you about being an effective teacher, an inspirational teacher, someone to get through, someone to get your idea through. One thing I want to discuss with you is the 3 different learning styles. One being kinesthetic, the other one being visual, the other one auditory. And I'm going to discuss 3 different methods I've learned about while teaching. A little background about me. I spent 15 years in the military. 9 of those years I've been a Green Beret. I've done 5 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. I've been teaching firearms for over 7 years. And I've learned a lot in that time. But let me break down one thing I found that was or several things, that I found that are very effective when teaching. Number 1, kinesthetic. Believe it or not, kinesthetic is the number 1 way of learning because it's something we've done growing up. Think of you as a child. You pick the toy up, you manipulate it, you touch it, you use your hands, put it in your mouth, probably. You work with it. That's one way of learning new material. Another thing, visual. You look at pictures, watch movies, look at charts, graphs to help us retain information. And thirdly, auditory. Auditory, we hear somebody speak, much like myself. And you learn something new. It's one way that we just retain information. But which one's the most effective? All of them. All of them are most effective, believe it or not, because that's how we learn. Now, 3 things that I've learned while teaching are very effective techniques for teaching. Number 1, safety. Safety sounds odd to most people, but if you do not create a safe environment for your student, the learning process won't start. It can't start. Now, you guys are thinking physical safety. I'm not going to get run over by a car or hit by something. That's one small snippet. But think about the other one, emotional safety. How many of you guys thought, what if I get ridiculed? What if he makes fun of me? What if I'm not good enough? You as an instructor or a teacher need to create that safe environment in order to help that student come out of their shell and start learning, looking and listening, touching and feeling. Second, you have to chunk the information. The information you're bringing is great, whatever it is. But if you don't break it up into small, bite-sized pieces, how can they digest it? How can they take it and say, all right, this is good, okay, got it, I can see it, I can touch it, I can hear it. Next piece, can't do it. Thirdly, you have to establish a relationship with your student. Your student has to establish that relationship with you. What is the key component of a relationship? Think about your marriage, significant others, children. Trust. You have to have trust with your student. Because if they don't trust you, they don't think it's a safe environment. I can tell you that. They're not going to be able to take those bite-sized pieces of information and think about what trust means. What does it really mean? That what you're telling me is true and believable. Now, think back to those stories you heard growing up. Excuse me, not the stories. Think about the teacher that inspired you. The teacher that reached out to you and just made you want to be somebody better. Did they chunk the information? Did they create a safe environment for you? And did you have trust with them? Did you utilize, or did they utilize those 3 different methods of teaching? Kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. Pose that question and figure out, are they great? What made them great? And can they, like you, be that very next great teacher? Adam Toastmaster. Is that like a rose or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 minute.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
That's what he said.
second contestant, Hadi Noser. Coming to America, Hadi Noser.
We got it, he's here! I slowly lift my head up and look around. Every security guard is looking at me. I look one of them straight in the eye. He has a stern, but rather confused look on his face. I walk forward. I can feel the sweat dripping down my cheek. Flashback. It's August 2004. I've just completed a semester at the University of Melbourne in Australia. I'm sitting in my office chair, impatient to come to America. You see, I had just missed my college orientation at the University of Melbourne. A 3-day camp in the woods where people did nothing but party. And I was anxious and ready to get my redemption here in America. But orientation at FSU had just started. And I'm sitting here waiting, where on earth is my visa? It turned out that the US Embassy had a printing problem. And the one man who could fix it was, ironically, my cousin. I call his house. His wife picks up. Where is cousin Megan? Oh, he had to fly to Egypt to help the US Embassy over there. Drat. A thought pops in my head. I wonder if I get my visa on September the 10th, 2004. Be careful what you think about. I get my visa September 10th, 2004, and take the very next flight to America, September the 11th. I'm sitting at Melbourne International Airport. Flights to New Zealand, delayed. Flights to Sydney, delayed. Flights to the US, canceled. Oh crap. Did something happen today, September the 11th, 3 years later? Is it just that we're on high alert? What's going on? I look on the information board to see how late my flight to Sydney is going to be. It's a 3-hour delay. Great. Egyptian guy missing his flight from LA to Atlanta. Luckily, I decided not to put on my terrorist persona that day. You know, brown guy, facial hair, white robe. You know, maybe flashing some Arab money. I leave Australia September the 11th, 2004, and arrive in the United States the same day because of the time difference. I'm in LA. I've surely missed my flight to Atlanta. I'm 17 years old with a big grin on my face. This is going to be fun, I think to myself. I walk around nomadically, trying to figure out what on earth to do. Where do I go for my missed flight to Atlanta? I'm meandering around the airport, trying not to look too conspicuous. And finally, I find a Delta counter. And I remember, hey, my flight to Atlanta is a Delta flight. I go up to the counter. Hello, I've just come to America and I've missed my flight. What do I do? She shows me. She's like, oh, yes, you need to go take an oath before moving on to Atlanta. Okay.
I go to an immigration officer. I take some oaths. She tells me, do you promise to say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And me, like an ignorant Australian or Egyptian, I'm like, yeah. Let's move. And she looks at me. She's like, oh, your paper's not signed. Your parents needed to sign this. I was like, oh my God. Am I going back? And she's like, your parents are in Australia, right? I'm like, yes. She's like, okay, go. So I walk over, about to cross the security checkpoint. I check out all the guards, feeling like a spy. Dun, 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 dun. I'm being all slick. I'm in America now. I can use a driver's license. Tuck away my Egyptian passport, pull out my Australian license, walk up to the security guard, look at his face, give him the card. We got him, he's here, he's here! Madam Joseph.
One minute on the clock, please.
I was at that airport.
And you're reading.
Contestant number 3, Stephany Byrne. Mirror, mirror. Mirror, mirror. Contestant number 3, Stephany Byrne.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the smartest one of all? Well, it's not the teacher, not the preacher, not my parents, certainly not my mother. So I guess it must be me. Madam Contest Master, fellow Toastmaster, and yes, foolish words from a rambunctious, rebellious, silly child. But from the age of 10 on, I really thought I knew more than my mother. That I was cleverer, wittier, smarter than she. I considered my mother an old thing. Old-fashioned, outdated, out of step. She must have been born old, never was young. A fuddy-duddy, constantly espousing trite cliches and dull old platitudes. You know, like waste not, want not. Or never put off for tomorrow what you can do today. And of course the sticks and stones thing. Well, I pasted a feigned look of interest on my face, pretend to pay attention, while in my mind my eyes rolled in the back of my head out of sheer boredom. Didn't she know this was a different time, a different generation? She couldn't possibly understand the challenges that I faced, or so I thought. I was the hip one, with it, glib, while my mother At 30-something, well, let's face it, the old girl was outdated, antiquated, archaic. She knew nothing about us and what we did. My mother believed that children should be children. She did her best not to involve us in grown-up affairs. She tried to keep us simple, uncomplicated. My mother dressed us in a manner befitting our age. At a time when my classmates wore precocious pencil skirts and cashmere sweaters, my sister and I wore plaids and pleats and bulky knits. The other girls wore beautiful buns and French rolls. I wore braids, the old-fashioned, ugly kind, with barrettes and bows. I wanted so badly to wear a small heel pump. I got Girl Scout lace-ups instead. They looked like combat boots. My mother's favorite saying was, stay a child as long as you can, because once you're grown, you're a long time grown. How I wish I had listened more. But instead I argued and challenged, snarled and rebelled. When Mom grew weary of dueling with me, she pasted on a mystic smile, much like that of the famed Mona Lisa, as if to say, just live. It's been said that a parent's revenge is grandchildren. They live for the day to see history repeat. She did. As a teenager, I was the cool one, savvy, sophisticated, down with all the latest jargon and hip sayings, up on the fashions and latest dances. I thought my mother's job, aside from the washing, cleaning, cooking, chauffeuring, chaperoning, sewing, her job was simply to stop our fun, as though she derived some perverse pleasure from keeping us from a good time. Does this sound familiar? I can't wait till I'm out of here. I'll be so much happier on my own. Just live. My mother represented stability, consistency, a comforting dependability. You could count on her not to be wishy-washy. Once a decision was made, there was no vacillating. What she said was etched in stone. Oh, I didn't like it. It meant I wasn't getting my way. But even as a saucy, sassy, assertive child, I recognized the value in having parents who could stick to their resolve and not be dissuaded by a trying child. When my mother had had enough of me, she just went silent. There was nothing else to be said. A word of encouragement to those of you who are having a tumultuous time with your teens. Stick to your guns. Wait them out. Time is on your side. Even if they throw out the dreaded, I hate you, don't cave in. They'll thank you later. Besides, it's not you that they hate. It's the rules and the disciplines, but it's good for them. The time to be their friend is later. Be the parent they need, not the friend they claim to want. How do I know this? My mother is now my best friend. We travel, shop, and play together. What I know about life, I learned mostly from her. It's been a lifelong learning experience, and it continues to this day. And you know something? I wouldn't change a thing. My, look at the time. My mother would say, time waits for no man. My mother would say, mirror, mirror on the wall, I'm my mother after all.
No.
Contestant number 4, Rich Massa. What the heck are you scared? Are you scared of? What the heck are you scared of, Rich Massa?
Imagine, if you will, lying on your deathbed with all the dreams given to you by life, with all the talents, the abilities that you never used, all the ideas that you never acted on. And there they are, staring at you by your bed, looking at you with large angry eyes saying, "We came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you." Contest master, fellow members and guests, that's a segment from my favorite speaker, Les Brown. Today, I want to show you, statistically, that you're a miracle. I want to show you the number one thing that holds somebody back from their greatness and their true potential. And I'm going to do something very difficult for me. I'm going to show vulnerability while I tell my story of how I found mine. So what is a miracle? A miracle, by definition, is a highly improbable event with very welcomed consequences. Are you a miracle? Well, let's find out. When your mother and father got together, there's over 5 million options for the room, and you were the fastest one. Now, you could take that as a compliment, or you could take that as an insult. But all jokes aside, for your parents to have gotten together, date, fall in love long enough for those 5 million options to be possible, and for all of your ancestors to do the same thing, for you to be you, the chances of that happening are 400 quadrillion to 1. Ladies and gentlemen, if that is not the definition of a miracle, I don't know what is. So what holds somebody back from finding their greatness if you're a miracle? Human beings have 2 basic emotions, love and fear. And I'm going to give you 2 guesses of the emotion that holds someone back from their greatness. What is fear? Fear, by definition, is a belief that someone, something, or an event is going to be a threat or cause them harm. But I want you to ask yourself, are your fears real? Now, I'm not talking about if someone has a gun to your head, not to be scared. That's just silly. What I'm talking about is, if you have a dream, if you want to do an event, are you scared? What if I fail? What if I make it and I can't handle it? Are those fears real? Most fears are a product of your imagination that cause us to fear things that are not happening currently or may not ever happen. It's like being scared of the boogeyman. So what are you scared of? How do you conquer fear? A very, very powerful emotion. How do you conquer this emotion? The opposite of fear, ladies and gentlemen, is what? Faith. You have to feed your faith. You have to understand that every decision that you make is like planting a seed in the ground. And that when you water it and you give it the sunlight that it needs and the water that it needs, that it still has to struggle to become what you planted it to become, whether it's a tree or a flower. it still has to struggle. And you're going to become something more through your struggles. Without challenge, ladies and gentlemen, there is no change. I had to find this out the hard way. As you, ladies and gentlemen, know, in October 3rd, 2014, I lost my mother. And through the healing process, I wrote down all the struggles I went through in the past 12 years. In 12 years, I lost my grandmother, who was like my second mother. I was in a car accident that shattered my leg. I had to have 11 surgeries. I got married and I got divorced. In 2 years, I lost my father to colon cancer and I lost my mother. And I had to make a decision. And am I going to let this defeat me? Or am I going to let this define me? And I decided to show you how I got inspired. I want to share you my favorite poem. Ladies and gentlemen, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same, as we are liberated from our own fears. Our presence automatically liberates others. What does that mean? If I overcome my struggles, it gives you and others permission to overcome theirs. There's power and greatness in every single one of you. Each and every one of you is a miracle. And when you do something that is uncomfortable for you, it gives someone else permission to find their greatness. And I want to be that change I want to see in the world. That's what drives me. I want the things I've been through, what I'm doing, and what I'm going to do to have meaning. And I encourage you to do the same. So ladies and gentlemen, you're a miracle. Most of your fears are a product of your imagination. They're not real. And I have a very important question for you. If our deepest fears is that we're powerful beyond measure, what are you scared of? Mr. Toastmaster.
Contestant number 5, Stephen Morgan, the magic pen. The magic pen, Stephen Morgan.
Daddy, will you sign my field trip form for me, please? Here's a pen. Sure, princess. Ooh, planetarium. Always loved the planetarium. But this pen just isn't working. Oh, jeez! Look, Daddy, a magic pen! Madam Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, anyone who's been the victim of a practical joke? How would you turn this into a lesson to remember, an inspiration for success? No, dear, this is a joke pen. This is the magic pen. And it's high time I told you its story. When my great-grandpa Pietro came to America as a young man, he had nothing but the clothes on his back. But because of his infectious enthusiasm, an immigration officer took a liking to him. The officer helped him fill out his immigration forms and gave him this magic pen. Here's the secret, the officer said. Decide what you want. And write it down 15 times a day, every day. See, I've been using this to write, I'm a profitable artist, and today I get to retire at age 33. All because of this magic pen. Great-grandpa took that pen, and with it, he wrote, I am a respected writer, 15 times a day, every day. In 9 months, he was the leading reporter for the local paper. In 3 years, he was editing that paper. When he retired as part owner, he was the most respected journalist in the city. Then he passed the pen on to his daughter, Grandma. Grandma, she used the pen to go find adventure all around the world. So when the pen came to my father, of course he used it to stay put and build a family and a community. He passed it on to me, and now I pass it on to him. Oh, my daughter's eyes were wide. Can you make me rich? Well, yes, but perhaps you should use it first to improve your math skills so you'll know when you're rich. And so she did. My daughter wrote, I love math, and I know math better than anyone I know. 15 times a day, every day. 6 months ago, she was barely passing algebra. Today, she's top student in the school. Last week, she asked me about calculus. My own daughter is going to outmath me. But then, her world was shattered. Daddy, I broke the magic pen, and Mommy says you don't have a great-grandpa Pietro. Calm down, dear. I have another pen right here just for you. That one's not magic. No, it's not. But you know what? Neither was that one. I made the whole story up. You know why? Because if I told you I just got the idea from a book, you'd roll your eyes and blow me off. Exactly like you're doing right now. But a story grabs your attention. A story teaches you a lesson. A story you remember. And you remember that story. And you took it to heart. But I get it, you want the real story. Fine. Here's the real story. My story. Let's see. Yes, I am a professional hypnotist. I wrote that 15 times a day, every day. 3 months later, I had my first paying client. Here, I am healthy, fit, emotionally balanced, and sexually satisfied. I wrote that 15 times a day, every day. 5 months later, I met your mother. And that reminds me. Yes. I'm a world champion public speaker. But now there's your story, from struggling student to math whiz. How do you explain all that? Magic? Yeah, but it's not the magic of the pen. You didn't notice, but I did. Instead of skipping stairs, you started to count them. And rather than watch television, you chose to play Sudoku. When we're at the store, you're calculating the tax before we even got to the register. You started thinking math. You started noticing math. You started liking math. Not because of the pen, but because you used the pen to tell yourself what you wanted. 15 times a day, every day. And in 6 short months, look what you've accomplished. From the bottom of your class right to the top. Daddy, 6 months is not short! My point, dear, is that it doesn't take any extra effort. All it takes is time. So my daughter thought about it a bit and asked, "Will any pen do?" Any pen will do. Well, then do you have another? Because I broke that one. I already told you, Princess, I have another pen right here just for you. Thank you, Daddy. Did I mention she gets her sense of humor from me? And contest match. You can throw it all in paper.
We need to put the ballot kind of fill the ballots. And then to a timer to give their report to the chief judge. All right, and let's give another round of applause for all our contestants. To introduce distinguished Toastmaster Mary Carol Holbert, who's our district governor, 84 governor, and to tell us about the upcoming district contest.
Yay. You know you want to be out there.
Absolutely. What Toastmaster do we know who refuses a chance to come to the lectern? Thank you very much, Madam Contest Master. Fabulous contest today. We do have, first of all, the winners from today will go to the area contest. And I have to confess, I'm not sure what date that is. I know it's sometime in March.
March 28th.
March 28th, thank you. What I can talk about though, and when I was asked to talk about the district contest, that is at our district conference, which is coming up this May. It's May 29th and 30th. How many people think that's Memorial Day? Very good. It is not. It's the weekend after Memorial Day. So please make plans. It will be at the Florida Hotel in downtown Orlando. Your winner might be the person representing you in either the table topics and or the international speech contest. the winner from this club will go to the area contest. The winner from the area contest will go to a division contest, which will be held in April. And then the winner from that contest will come May to our district contest. The district contest will be so much fun. You're going to be hearing a lot more about the conference, but make plans. It's going to be TV Guide Flashback. Think about your favorite shows and TV. We do a costume night on Friday. It's a grand event. So I would, as your district governor, highly encourage everybody to think about and then actually make plans and come to the district conference. It is so much fun. It's the first place I know I realized how big Toastmasters is and what it can really offer us. Your club is wonderful. I love this club. If it weren't at 7:30 in the morning, I would come to this club. But on occasion, I love to make it. Thank you very much for having me here. I know you've got to move on with the contest, but come to the conference. Thank you.
And I have some certificates to give out. We have our contest chair, Gus D. Me. Lori Richards from Sergeant at Arms. Ernst as our timer. Okay, and then our participants. Hadi and Sam. Stephen Morgan. Jorge. Mike Hughes. And Rick Martin. And I have a few more, but they are not in the room at the moment. So, Stephen, did you want to talk about our business for next week?
I'm not president.
Oh, president.
Yes.
I forgot, this is not in here. I did that. Business chair for next week, what's going on?
I don't have the schedule right now, but.
Oh, really? Sorry about that.
So welcome guests, those of you that are trying to figure out what is going on. I'm Erika, I'm the president of the club, and for the last few weeks I've had snow blizzards, I've had all kinds of obstacles, so it is great to be back. And I want to thank Stephen for stepping in, as he always does whenever we need something. What happened today, as our district governor mentioned, is a contest within our club, and that contest will go to the next level in a few months. And I want to encourage those that are visiting today, that are thinking about joining the club, that this is a very supportive group and we're all here to grow. We're very technologically savvy, so the contest has been recorded and will be uploaded thanks to Stephen. We also have software called Easy Speak, where we organize how we're going to participate every week. So those that have busy lives. So, and I said so, but no, we're not counting today, right? The Toastmaster next week will be myself. First speaker, Lori Richards. Second speaker, Mike Hughes. Third speaker, Hadi. Table Topics Master, Jessica. Where's Jessica? Is she outside? Kerri B, General Evaluator. Sure. Rich Massa, First Evaluator. I need a second evaluator for next week. Any volunteers?
Finish the rest of the roles so we know who has what.
Martin Bell will be third evaluator. Odd counter Ernst, grammarian Juliana, timer Nicole. Jorge will do it. Thank you, Jorge. That'll be evaluator 2. Okay. Also, want to point out that I had some interest from a few members. There is a rescue run corporate 5K at the end of March. March 28th, we would meet at 8:30 in the morning and we can take off by 9:30 and represent our club. In the past, my Rotary Club has participated and I knew the former chair, so I could find out, because we're a 501(c)(3), if there's some sort of discount for us to participate, but it would be an awesome opportunity to get the word out on International Parkway, which is right here. It just connects, and it's only 5K, so 3.3 miles. Lots of beer at the end if you want. And something very important that I want to point out, Stephen sent an email to a few of us. We have several achieving the bar achievements. We need to all pat ourselves on the back. Everybody take a moment and pat themselves on the back. Seriously. This is the first time that we have so many achievements, educational achievements, so early in the year. We have a record number of members, and thanks to our 50-50 that was incorporated this past term, we have over $600 in our bank account. So it's nice to not be in debt, to grow, and those achievements mean that we're helping everyone grow. So if you're on the fence and thinking about joining, please consider this a very supportive club that will help you achieve your speaking goals. Any comments in regards to the rescue run, or if you have any questions about achieving your educational speaking goals, we can set you up with a mentor if you haven't connected already. And our next achievement that we want to reach is having 20 members pay their dues by March 10th. So I'm giving you about 2 weeks notice. If you could turn in your dues. I have someone in my office that writes my checks. I'm going to take that email, print it, and give it to her so that she can make sure that we do that. And that will help us earn credits that will help towards growing the club and buying things like awards.
$98.
Yes.
$98 is the dues, for those of you that don't know how much it is. And it pretty much helps cover your book and the cost of having this meeting room, because this room is not free. So with that, are we ready to turn it over?
I'd like to make a special acknowledgement if I can. Just wouldn't help.
Gus, I was going to call him up. Yeah. He's so serious today.
There's a reason.
There's a reason.
Hi, I was just going to call you up.
Yes.
I want to make a special mention that besides being our contest chair and doing a fabulous job of communicating and getting everything done, he did it with the burden of losing his mother this past week, and he's on his way to Africa. When? Today or tomorrow? Today. As soon as he finished, he didn't drop the ball. He hung in there with us, and he's going to bury his mother today. So please, that's
He never skipped a beat. He gave me a voicemail, making sure there was not a blizzard or anything to stop me a few days ago. I said, don't you worry about me. All right, I would like to invite Gus on up here. Thank you again.
Thank you, thank you. While we're getting ready, I really want to thank every one of you. My word for the day, we didn't have a word for the day, but if I had a word for the day, it would be delegation. Every one of you was months back, Stephen told me you have to do this contest because I'm completing my competent leadership. And then
started to happen, it's going to go on. So I try to get everybody to help me. Thank you, Stephany. She helped me get those trophies. Let's put them up here because the winners are going to be starting to get anxious to know what they're going to get. And I want to thank Stephany for that, coaching me through. And also I want to thank Paul. He actually produced the program that you have here just to see how delegation works. I want to thank all the functionaries, the timer, the sergeant at arms, and the ballot counters. Every one of you were able to do your part very, very well. And for Kerri, she just got back in town on Friday. You know, she was able to do her part as the contest chair. I really appreciate each one of you. Then I got an email from my real lifesaver was saying, we have to produce these certificates, we have to do all of it. There's a lot of paperwork it takes. Because there's another contest today, by the way. What time is that contest today, Julia?
12:30.
12:30, where?
Masters.
Right.
State College.
Thank you. And they will also be doing just what we did here. She was the one who really became a lifesaver. We just went back and forth and emails, and thank you so much for helping me. And all of you, the contestants, I want to thank you for your speeches. Little did most of you know that every one of your speech related to everything that I was going through. So I want to thank you very much for that. I'll call back our contest master to come up here. We have some announcements to give to Julia. Will you please come up as the chief judge to receive her?
Oh, all right.
And then we've got our ballot counters, Jessica Reschke. And became ballot counter. Oh, Nicole Castle.
So, any other club business? Because after this will be final.
50-50.
50-50, yes, let's have final.
We have $12 in here, so anybody wants to buy some more? Invite, come on.
50-50.
50-50.
That's how we got $600 in the kitty, right?
Yeah, somehow.
One over here.
Oh wait, this
We got it.
give me the thing.
Is that a girl's phone number? Are you serious?
Here you go.
One more.
Those are girls' phone numbers.
Then you gotta call them right then and there. That's true.
Now we have about 3 guests in the room. Today we have Cindy here, invited 4 guests. Cindy was invited. Mary, thank you for joining us. Hala, back there. And Calvin, this is your second visit. Thank you so much for coming. And you're welcome to join us every Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. We'll start and we'll finish by 8:30. Yes, sir, Mr.
Where's the guest? Okay. You pulled a lucky one. Okay, what's the number?
2300827.
Is what coming at 7:30?
Give me my 2 and I'll donate the rest of it back.
We're at 6:30 today.
Just give me my 2 back.
Did you hear that?
The rest I donate to the club.
Alright. Okay, so we're now our winners for the Table Topics contest. First we have third place was Hadi.
Don't announce beyond second. They didn't have enough contestants.
We need to have it.
Okay. Second
We don't know the
place,
name.
Jorge Friegels. Yes. And first place is Steve Morgan.
I got it. I can do
Oh, you
this
got
way.
it?
I'll get it vertically.
Could be other side.
We do this?
1, 2, 3. Thank you. All right.
Yes. For the International Speech Contest, second place, Stephen Morgan. And first place, Stephany Brown.
Can I get a picture? Can you guys get together? Thank you. Hold on, I'm gonna turn on the flash. There we go. Got it.
Thank you.
I don't have it up here.
We don't have it up here.
Oh. Yeah, well,
Yes.
At least I have my chance and the president is not up. This concludes the contest of table topics and international speech right here at Lake Mary. The contest again. Yes, I have it.